I'm gonna check just in case. Yeah, we're going. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and blessings to the elect out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. All right, as you can see from the title, it's wars and rumors of wars, and then in parentheses, Afghanistan rumors. Because in recent news, as long as you got the news on, you see that Biden put out the executive order to withdraw all the troops from Afghanistan. If you don't know really what it means, it is basically showing how much influence these other nations have on America now. On a global scale, on a global theater, America is looking like a bitch. That's basically what it means. A couple, because I was watching a different podcast to get a different perspective, other than what folks on mainstream media, because either one, it's just basically saying that whether you watch CNN or Fox News, they're just saying that America withdrew from Afghanistan and the Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. At one podcast you can watch is Kyle from Nelk. He started a podcast, and he got Trump Jr., baby Trump, and the Navy SEAL that shot Osama bin Laden, and they're talking about the different politics and war tactics that it takes. They have a good idea of what this means for America on a global scale, and even potential what can come of it, even in a domestic situation. But without further ado, we're just going to get into the scriptures about what this means, because at the end of the day, as tensions rise over there in the Middle East, it's drawing other countries to come in, and it's going to lead to World War III, or Armageddon. All right, the Valley of Judgment, which is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and Armageddon, which is the Mountain of Troops. All right.
God, bro, that's a lot. It's this video. This is video. If you go on this article posted on USA Today, MSN website, and it was published 51 minutes ago. It says latest news from Afghanistan: 7,000 evacuated from Kabul, which Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan, and they're showing this video of all of these. That's the viral part of it, right? All of these, Afghanistan citizens trying to escape or evade. They're trying to get out. They're trying to get out of the country because the Taliban has prohibited, access. And matter of fact, we can start with that. They prohibited access out of the country. You know what I'm saying? Because they've taken over the country. They've taken over the border. They've taken over, everything. Imagine, a whole country that has a whole government, a whole army, or whatever, being overtaken and overthrown by a militia group. And so, this is what's going on today in 2021. So I can, if you don't mind, I can get the scripture here in Second Ezra 15, and I'll start at verse 16. Actually, I'll start at verse 15. It says, Second Ezra 15 and 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." Because if you read verse 14, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." And that's really where I should start at, verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein," because all of these trendy, news topics and conversations that kind of make the news, for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then fade into the sun, and until the next topic comes out. All of these are what the scriptures talk about: wars and rumors of wars, man. Okay, and so there's constantly animosity building, intention in the world, in various parts of the world, which is going to culminate into a world's war. And this is something that we've been saying for since the elders, apostles, and elders came on YouTube, man. Okay, so verse 15, it says, "For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Okay, so again, the sword is the modern day gun. Okay, or the modern day sword, excuse me, is the gun. Okay, and destruction from within and without is happening to a lot of these countries that for multiple reasons, what I mean, because ultimately to again stir up strife and stir up contention and stir up a spirit of just chaos in the earth. That's what Esau likes, for that to flourish to the point where he can come in, because that's what his agenda is. I guess it's going to flow into Habakkuk as well, but his agenda is to come in and buy cheap, sell high. He's looking at everything as a money grab. So we'll just finish this verse 16 and then I'll give it back to you, bro. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men." And when you look up that word sedition, it means the incitement of resistance to or insurrection against a lawful authority. And is that not what we're seeing in Afghanistan? Insurrection against lawful authority, with the Taliban taking over the the whole freaking country, and so that's what's going on. But that's coming to America. All right, we've been seeing protests going on. That's the beginning of it, the protest, and then it becomes rebellion, uproar. Okay, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." That's exactly what we're seeing. Matter of fact, you got it, brother. Let me go ahead and continue to read some more of this article to get the facts about the capital being taken over. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, so
Okay,
like
there you go. Okay,
I was gonna say there really wasn't even any pushback against the Taliban, because all it was they America announced that they were withdrawing from Afghanistan, and Taliban just was free to take over. So it's just a drastic change of democracy to back to Taliban rule, which is their dictatorship, whatever you want to call it. They just took over, and it went from democracy to dictatorship, within, overnight, basically. So
it says, oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
It says, Reuters reports that an official said the Taliban are believed to control more than 2,000 armored vehicles, including U.S. Humvees, and up to 40 aircraft, potentially including UH-60 Black Hawks, Scout attack helicopters, and Scan Eagle military drones, citing a current intelligence assessment. Let's see here. It says, according to a 2017 report by the U.S. government Accountability Office, since 2002, the Americans have given Afghan security forces 600,000 weapons, such as rifles, 76,000 vehicles, such as Humvees, 16,000 equipment items for intelligence, surveillance like drones, and 208 aircraft. So
Yeah, so
after, yeah,
because America was funding the Afghanistanians. I don't know how to label them, but they're trying to train Afghan to up and build their army up enough to fight against the Taliban. But when America left, they just didn't fight against the Taliban, and the Taliban came in, and now they have access to all those like war crafts and stuff there now. So basically, America pretty much just funded the Taliban.
yeah, yeah, and they well, the thing is, if Esau wanted to dust off these Ishmaelites, he would be able to do it in one swoop. But he wants that chaos, that turmoil, to be able to substantiate him coming in and, you know, finessing the game even more, man. So, as I'm reading these articles, is becoming more and more interesting to me as to what this man's motive is, which, it's becoming known that, there's billions and billions of dollars worth of resources that the landmass of Afghanistan has possession of. So, hey man, we
Yeah,
already know Esau's always for the money.
Yeah. Like if you read the book War is a Racket, talks about it's from the perspective of a two-time Medal of Honor recipient. Like he's fought in multiple wars, and he understands that. That's where the quote "all wars are bankers' wars" comes from. He goes. It's funded by lobbyists and military politicians that have their own agenda of making money off of these wars, because for the last few years, America over there in Afghanistan, there wasn't that many battles happening. That not that many bullets were being fired, because the Taliban knew that was American occupied land, and they weren't gonna fuck with them because they have far superior weapons and stuff. And because of that, you can't make money off of war if no bullets are being fired. You can't sell any bullets if no bullets are being fired. So what you do in order to make money, you withdraw the troops, let the Taliban take over, and probably start some shit. Let them start cutting off heads and raping women, and take out overthrow democracy that America just set. So then it justifies America coming back in to start firing more bullets, so you can start making money off of it and taking over the resources there and start shipping those resources back to America. That's how money is made off of wars, and that's ultimately the end goal. But hey, guess what? Other countries have caught on to that game. Other countries know that game. So now they're going to have their own interest of funding their own military and ideologies into different places, whether it doesn't matter what justification they give, as long as they can put boots on the ground and start fighting in that war and taking over Afghanistan, having their own agenda, they can start making money off of it too. And that's what's going to happen, is as things intensify over there, it's going to draw out all the nations. Russia is going to be a top one, and America is going to be a top one, and the
And
ones that
Ezekiel
are going to
38.
come, Ezekiel 38. That's the end all, is the nations being gathered over there in the Middle East. That's when Yahweh Shai is going to come back. He's not going to.
Hey, if I can make this point, remember how World War One started, with the assassination of some prince of a country that don't even exist no more, Hungary or Austria-Hungary or some shit like that, which caused one tiny country to declare war on another country, which subsequently led to larger companies declaring war on one another. So it's a domino effect that's what's the term, proxy wars. Let me pull this up. In which, by the way, it's not like a war with what's going on in Afghanistan per se, like an official war, like one country against another or anything like that, per se. However, there is definitely civil unrest. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick.
Yeah, because it's whenever two small countries are fighting over something,
Mm-hmm.
they, a bigger country sees it as an opportunity of funding one side and
Mm-hmm.
making a deal where, okay, well, if we help fund you, then you owe us something. And a lot of times it's whatever resources are there. So if they say, which, oil is a huge part of that over there in the Middle East, they're rich in oil. So if America says, look, we can back, you Afghanistanians, as long as you fight against the Taliban and take over these resources, then you give us oil, then we'll give you whatever you want. And then on the flip side, you have countries like Iran and Russia that might be for the Taliban, and they'll fund the Taliban in order to get some of their resources. And if tension starts rising, then it's gonna put Russian troops and American troops on the ground. That's how proxy wars become real wars.
Yep, for sure. And to add to that, I was just pulling up the definition of our trusted resource, Wikipedia. It says a proxy war is an armed conflict between two states or non-state actors which act on the instigation or on behalf of other parties that are not directly involved in the hostilities. So again, like you said, you know, uh, uh, the battleground might be going on outside of the two superpowers that may be having different objectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it may be two smaller countries fighting for on behalf of the two superpowers that have directly opposed mindsets or outcomes. It says, in order for a conflict to be considered a proxy war, there must be a direct, long-term relationship between external actors and belligerents involved. And what do we just read in this article here? It says since 2002, since 2000, since 2002, Americans have given Afghan security forces 600,000 weapons. Okay, what do you think those weapons are for? To quote unquote fight against Al Qaeda. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we quote unquote fought when we were, at war when America was at war with Iran. You know,
Mm-hmm.
going to Iraq and shit. But anyway, finishing that off in the definition, it says between there must be a long-term relationship between external actors and the belligerents involved. It says the aforementioned relationship usually takes the form of funding, which we just there was funding there, military training, arms, or other forms of material assistance which assist a belligerent party in sustaining its war effort. So again, these tinier wars that's going on offshore in no man's land where people don't really care about going to visit as tourists is actually, it's a bigger picture. It's not just that country, having civil unrest. It's an objective this man's trying to accomplish, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, because they try to justify it, sending American troops over there, or they did, because of human activism. Like they need liberation. Well, if that was true, you'd see America fighting in North Korea right now. Because North Korea is under a dictatorship and they commit genocide, and so does China. Like they commit genocide every day, but you don't, because they know it's a different game being played.
mm-hmm.
That's just what they say to get troops over there. And now they say the next withdrawal is Taiwan. China and Taiwan is going to be like the next proxy war over there because of what just happened. But anyways, the main point is going to be over there in the Middle East. If you want to grab Second Ezra, the 15th chapter,
Okay.
where it's about the Carmanians.
Yep. This is 2nd Ezra 15, and I'll start at verse 28. It says, "Behold, an horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east,
Mm-hmm.
where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots,
Mm-hmm.
and the multitude." And we've been saying this about the Middle East, man. You know, this is going to be the stage where World War III is fought between, you know, the world leaders, if you will, you know, the superpowers of the world. That, you know, they're going to be trying to fight for their next, or you know, for the position in the next what they perceive to be the next kingdom. You know, because everybody sees the downfall of American empire. They're going to try to establish a new, but it's nothing after America, man. It says "For the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble." You know, so they're going to be a force. You know, kind of just leading up to the point, verse 30. They're going to be a force to be, you know, to be reckoned with. Iran, you know, Iran, they wild over there, man. Ishmael, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They live by the sword and they die by the sword, man. You know, they just don't got Esau's blessing to where they got the fatness of the earth to be able to, you know, build these type of technologies that Esau has built. Okay.
But
They
Iran is heavily funded by Russia, and it's
yeah,
known. Like
yeah,
like whatever
yeah.
Russia has, Iran has. But Iran just hasn't been entering in on those proxy wars yet. Iran is like one of the last components, you know, as we're about to read in verse 30.
Kind. So it says, verse 30, "Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars off of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians."
Yeah, so when you go into the Carmanian history, you'll see that the ancient Carmanians are the modern day. The land is, you know, modern day Eastern Iran, Pakistan, and even part of Afghanistan.
Can
And
you
when you,
Salakia, can you share the screen on here?
yeah, I can. I was just looking it up for myself, but
If you just type in if you type in Carmania or Carmanian, excuse me, um, if you type in Carmanian,
mhm.
there's a Wikipedia. There's a Wikipedia link because I would share it, but I can't share it. We just
Yeah,
type in Carmanians. Excuse me. If you type in Carmanians, Wikipedia, they have a picture of like an old school picture map of it with the
yeah,
region
right here.
highlighted. Yeah, click on that, Baba Kushah. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. Yeah,
So you can see that area right there, that horn of what is that, Saudi Arabia right there? Or let me go to the map real quick.
yeah. This is like Saudi Arabia, and then like Oman and Yemen down here. Oman. But
Oh
yeah, this
yeah,
is Saudi
yeah,
Arabia.
UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Dubai and all that. Right across the
Persian
the
Gulf.
way, yeah, the Persian Gulf. You got Carmania right there, which is like the brother said. If you take that map that's on the screen, and you compare it to, you know, the Google Maps or whatever, you're going to see that red area right there, which is ancient Carmania, is eastern Iran, southwestern Afghanistan, and western Pakistan, man. All right, and it says, if you read the scripture, it says that it's go ahead to get the verse again. It says that they're going to, hold on, I got the right one. Okay, yeah. It says that they're going to the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. All right, so these armies, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna be, this talking about, of course, World War III. They're gonna be fighting for their place as well. But if you go down in verse 30, it says also the Carmanians raging in wrath. Why are they raging in wrath? Because they've been trying to, you know, get out of the possession when you have your country under possession, uh, under military possession, man. You know, you don't really have a whole government. You don't really have a full. How do I put it? You're like a little pet. You're like a little pet country. Because
Mm-hmm.
at any moment, because you're not fully sovereign. So at any moment, then if you got occupied, that's what it is. If your country is under occupation uh, by America, which most countries have U.S. embassies in them. All right, but this is like a military type situation with Afghanistan, man. The United States has been intervening, in that country for years. All right, and pretty much, these people are gonna get tired of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get tired of Esau always having something to do with turmoil going on in their country.
Yeah, because here it is. It's their country, and
Hmm.
they're not reaping the benefits of all the resources being exploited. So they're pissed
Hmm.
off. They want
Hmm.
to say so in the world. They have a way of living that they want to accomplish. That's why they behead people. Behead people that worship outside of Muslimism and whatever. You
Hmm.
know,
Yep.
so they're pissed off about it. That's why they
Yeah.
blow themselves up, in other countries, is because they don't fuck with, they throw gays off of, cliffs, and they behead women that sleep with multiple women, or
Yep.
that sleep with multiple men. That's
Hmm.
their way of living. And they
Hmm.
view any other way of living, wrong. They see
Yep.
people that live in other, heathenistic lifestyles, according to them, that are taking their resources. Yeah, they're gonna come in, raging, and then
Yep.
keep reading on verse 30.
It says, also the Carmanians, raging in Rash, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood,
Yeah,
which,
and so when you go into boars, wild boars, they got the thick skin, so when you hit them, they just keep coming. You have
hmm
to like riddle them with arrows or bullets for them to go
hmm
down.
hmm
That's the same way those crazy Carmanians are. Right? They
hey, and they're territorial too.
yeah, they're real
Boars are
territorial.
territorial. If you step in their territory, they gonna charge, man.
Hmm. And like
You know?
we're talking about how before the stream started up, about how they're trained to go to war at a really young age, like 6 or 7 years old, and they also start fucking and multiplying at the age of 12 and 13, and they practice polygamy, so they know how to multiply like
they know how to. Yep,
like
they utilize their daughters.
and
Yeah.
like you like what they've been over there for 20 years now. So,
Yep.
and if they start multiplying at 12, then it's quite possible that American troops were killing the father, the father and the son, fighting
Hmm.
against multiple, like, 2 generations.
Well, yeah,
Keep
that's what I was
them.
gonna. That's the point I was gonna add on to what you were saying, brother. Is like, with when you're occupying a country that long, you have to think about, the people that are growing up there. That's all they know is
Yeah,
U.S. occupation.
yeah,
You know what I'm
like they're
saying?
they're groomed to hate like
Yeah,
these people. Like, yeah.
yeah. Like just think about like how many people today, right? Even though me and you were born before 9/11, how many people today really remember what it was like, going to the airport prior to that. You know what I'm saying? And
God.
mostly older adults. But the younger generation, which is going to be the ones that's in the militia groups, what I'm saying, going buck wild. Those are the ones that all they know is war. What I'm
Mhm.
saying? So they're gonna fight against. They're gonna stand for their people. Um,
Kind.
and
Yeah,
and
keep.
and yeah, I'll keep reading.
Yeah,
It says in the middle of verse 30, and with great power shall they come and
yeah. So
join.
now that,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's like a keep reading.
It says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Yeah, because it says, and with great power shall they come. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that great power is, you know, them being funded by, you know, other countries. Like we just read in that article, like now they have, you know, America's, you know, war shit. Like they like now that, you know, America has just left all that stuff to be taken over. Now they have, you know, better resources to fight with. You know, it said that they have planes now, like war planes,
Mm-hmm.
and
But they
you know
jugged it
most
from
likely
Esau.
missiles. Yeah, they jugged it from
But
Esau, so now
but
they
but
have that great power to come with. Where at one point it's just, you know, all they had was AK-47s and RPGs. Now they have fucking,
mm-hmm.
you know, some shit to do some real damage with.
Drones and stuff, some futuristic
Hmm.
shit. Matter of fact, where is it? Talking about um, plowshares into swords. That's got to be Joel.
Yeah.
Here. And this is Joel. Joel chapter 3. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, man. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles." All right, this is the heathen right here. It says, "Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords." Because what was happening before Esau came in and started messing up everything, man? You know, they were chilling, man. You know, of course, you know, you had, you know, skirmishes, you know, and everything like that, uh, amongst people, individuals, but the whole country is in war, man. The whole country
Mm-hmm.
is at you know, at odds. Either you part of the Taliban, or you against it. You for the U.S. interest. You know what I mean? You got to pretty much pick a side in that country. And so people are getting fed up. It says, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And that's part of Esau's stuff getting confiscated, you know, by these heathen. All right, because what he's done is used, again, Afghanistan as a you know, a participant in a proxy war. You know, so he's given resources and weapons and things of that nature over to this foreign country, and then when they get you know, overthrown, if you will, that's essentially what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now the enemy, quote unquote, has his stuff, man. And Esau ain't even really batting an eye at it because he has stuff way better than that. But they're gonna use them little 700. How they said 700,000 weapons and
Yeah.
76,000 vehicles to try to reap as much havoc as they can. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
And when it says and take a portion of Assyrians, you know, that's modern day like Iraq, you
right,
know, because that's
right.
also where the U.S. has established embassies at is Iraq
Hmm.
and those
And those are different
Iraqi
people.
wars. Hmm.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're
because
looking
Iraq is. It's a lot.
because
Yeah, it's
they're
a little bit of a delay. You got it.
I was just gonna say because they're looking at their own people as traitors. Like they gave up their, you know, heritage basically. It's like, oh, you
Hmm.
just gonna abandon like this way of life just for, you know, to adopt the American way. Like they looking at them like you abandon like the Muslim lifestyle or whatever.
Hmm. Yep, yep. So these people are divided once again, one against another, man, and they gonna fight. There's gonna be some fighting for sure. So I still had that Habakkuk and that Matthew as well. If you
Come.
want to get that, okay. Which one I guess I can get Habakkuk since we're talking about America occupying. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death."
Yeah,
Now you. Mhm.
that's talking about Esau Edom. How he has to be in other people's affairs. You know, just like even though he has the fatness of the earth, he has, you know, most of the land conquered, and he's still on top. He's, you know, top nation on earth. He's not satisfied. He wants to, you know, get all the resources out of every land. that's why he goes into third world countries and sets up his U.S. embassies and to start getting resources out of the land and fund U.S. corporations. So you can have things like the iPhone, because without going into third world countries and reaping the resources, you wouldn't have iPhones, you wouldn't have MacBooks, you wouldn't have flat screen TVs for only $200. All that's possible by reaping the resources out of other lands and building up his own empire even more.
Kind oh snap. Okay. All right. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this continuing on in Habakkuk. It says Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. And again, man, transgressing by that wine, he uses that tongue to persuade and pretty much justify all of his wickedness that he does. This man's ways are deep, man. You know what I mean?
Because you got to break down transgresseth by wine. Because when you go by wine in the scriptures represents different philosophies. So if you're drunk off wine, you're drunk off of he's drunk off of his philosophies, which is democracy, allowing homosexualism and just his way of life. He's a proud man, like he's pride. He thinks that his way of life should be established on all the earth. And because of that, he thinks that he can just go into any land and like this.
I got a precept too. After you done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isaiah 29 and 15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? And Esau, he's notorious for that, man. He think that his little conversations that he have in the dark with the powers that be, if you will, are not seen by the Most High, and that there's nobody that's going to be able to overthrow those plans, or that nobody's going to know what he has planned until he brings it out. But the Most High put spirit on him to make those plans. So Esau's the one that's in the trick bag, man, at the end of the day, because the scriptures say that the Lord hates Esau, man. Okay, and so he's not going, even though he rebuild, the Lord gonna throw it down. Going back to Habakkuk 2, it says, neither keepeth at home. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Again, always occupying another state, man, another nation. What for the purpose of what? Getting their resources, putting himself in a better position. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, just like the grave is never full of dead bodies. They go inside that mug. This man's desire, even if he took over everything, he was still playing. Oh, we're gonna go to the moon. We're gonna go to Mars. He was still continue. That's why he has to be stopped. It says, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but enlargeth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So he's like, look, I need jurisdiction over all. If you really consider the amount of people that the beast system has control over, as far as citizens and stuff like that, it's got to be close to a billion, at least over a billion, man. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because that's pretty much all of Europe, all of America, obviously, which accounts for hundreds of millions, which probably, like I said, well over a billion people, man. Okay. And so he's using that influence and that power to continue to conquer and take over more areas that he know that, okay, they're weak. Let me go ahead and strike now. But the Most High, again, he's not going to let him see the end of his plans. Okay, so you got it, bro.
Yeah, you can grab Matthew 24.
Okay, come on. This
Yeah,
is
and
Matt. And 6.
start at 3.
Okay, God. All right, this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of all the world?"
Yeah, so the disciples are like, and the end of the world meaning the end of an era, the end of a rulership. Because, back then they're still in the iron
Roman.
age of, Daniel, the second chapter, which is the Roman Empire. And, and that was, under rulership of Esau, Edom. So they knew about the prophecies of, Jacob is the beginning of the world and Esau is the end of it that followeth. So they're asking, when is Esau going to come out of rulership and, us, the kingdom of heaven being established? All right. So they're asking of when, of the end times, basically.
Yeah, because Esau is the end of the world, man, like the scriptures say. So we looking forward to that beginning of it that followeth that Jacob will be ruling in. And as soon as this man goes down, it's over. That's why we're hastening the day of the coming of the Lord, because we know that when Yahushua comes back, he's gonna overturn this all this madness is going on this earth, all right, and put the ones that have been standing by his side faithfully in the power seat, man. It says, verse 4, Matthew 24:4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many.
Yeah, because because when Mashiach or Christ just means anointed. So you're going to have a lot of people saying that they have, a way out of, these troubling times. As things intensify, things get, uncertain. You're going to have a lot of people say that they are anointed and they know a way out. Because, when these lockdowns happen, in the heart of it, when ain't shit going on, when there's no sports on TV and the only thing to watch was, basically the news. There a lot of people on YouTube were offering, spiritual enlightenment. It's like an enlightenment age came out of nowhere, and everybody was, offering their different points of views. But hey, it says, and then it says, and shall deceive many. So you had a lot of people falling for these different philosophies. And it's gonna, that's the scriptures prophesy how they're gonna wax worse and worse. Coming up with these different vain philosophies and just false teachers, popping up out of nowhere. But keep reading.
Con. It says, verse 5, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Verse 6, And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Yeah, because with all tensions rising in the Middle East, that the end is yet to come. Because because you have World War III happening, and you got a bunch of nations over there in the Middle East. That's not the end. All right, the end is when the mark of the beast is being implemented, and nuclear missiles being shot off. But the mark of the beast has to come first. So even the mark of the beast and that hour of temptation, that's not even the end. The end is when those nuclear missiles are being shot off, because that's what World War III is going to end up being. It's nuclear warfare.
Well,
That's when,
we're in the times. We're in the times of the wars and rumors of wars right now.
right?
But it's not over.
Yeah, it's not
We
over.
in the end.
Yeah, but this is a high time. This is a big sign of how that we're in the end. It's tensions rising. And, nation against nation. One people against another. Sedition among men. These are the end times. So although it doesn't seem like, and since 2002, there's been skirmishes over there in the Middle East. But just watch, keep an eye on it, because it's going to lead to nuclear warfare, because as those wars have been going on. You know, Russia has been updating their nuclear policies about how it was once, if a nuclear was fired at Russia, then nuclear would return with a nuke. Then it is, okay, if you launch a nuke at any of our allies, we're going to return with a nuke. And now it's, if you launch any type of missile with their allies, all right, they're going to launch a nuke back at you. And they've established alliances with Iran, and Iran has established alliances with, or it hasn't been confirmed, but there are suspicions of Iran backing Al-Qaeda. And now that Al-Qaeda has completely taken over Afghanistan, it just raises the tensions even more, where it's like the point of nuclear warfare is like paper thin, you know? It doesn't take much for shit to start rattling to get to that nuclear warfare, you know?
Yeah.
Especially
doomsday clock.
Yeah, the doomsday
almost at
clock
midnight.
is less increments of
Less than a
inches
minute.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Increments of inches away from midnight, man. So that's the end goal. It's nuclear warfare, and nuclear warfare is prophesied in the scriptures. So that's the end signs. And if you're not on Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai's good side, then you're going to be left for that nuclear destruction. All right. But yeah, that's all I had. If you had any closing points, I need to wrap it up. I got business to attend to.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we can go ahead and close it up.
Okay, Con. So, you know, with that, Lord willing, this video was edifying. You know, stay on your watchtower. You know, keep an eye out on the Middle East and on these mandates, because these are leading to the end times, you know. So once again, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem, Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Rakakodash. You know, Shalom.
Shalom, double honors to the apostles.
Double honors to the apostles, and peace and blessings to the elect out there. Shalom.
Shalom.